At precisely 4:52 p.m., the doors at the back of the hall opened, and the music paused, just for a breath. Then the murmur began. Tunde Alabi had arrived. He stepped in first. Every head turned. The murmurs turned into whispers. Tunde wore a jet-black agbada embroidered with subtle silver threads, glinting only when the light hit just right. He moved with quiet precision. No rush, no hesitation, his eyes sweeping the room like a storm gathering its wind. It had been 3 years since anyone had seen him in Lagos. Whispers had floated, rumors of international success, millions made, companies built. But now he stood here in the flesh, tall, lean, impossibly confident. And just when the crowd thought they had seen it all, Adaobi stepped in beside him. A gasp traveled through the hall like a wave crashing on marble. She wore emerald green, so vivid it shimmered like a gem. The dress clung to her body with perfect grace, accentuating every curve. A thigh-high slit revealed smooth skin and glittering heels. Her hair was swept into a regal bun, her makeup soft but radiant. She walked like a queen born for war, shoulders back, chin high, eyes burning with silent fire. No one recognized her, not at first. They saw beauty, power, intrigue. They didn't see the girl who once cleaned floors. They didn't see the woman who slept in an alley. Not yet. Whispers rippled through the hall like a low hum beneath the chandelier light. Who's that? Is that Tunde's fiancé? I heard she's a tech entrepreneur too. She looks expensive, like old money expensive. Kunle was the first to rise. He stood frozen for half a second, long enough for his new bride to notice the crack in his mask. His eyes locked on Tunde, then Adaobi, then back again. Sei followed his gaze, her brow furrowed. They hadn't expected him. They hadn't expected her. Kunle forced a grin and walked forward, arms wide. Tunde, wow, you came. Tunde gave him a look so smooth, so unreadable, it made Kunle's smile falter. Wouldn't miss it, Tunde said, voice calm. He gestured beside him. This is Adaobi Nwachukwu. Kunle extended a hand to Adaobi. She took it, her touch light, her stare sharp. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Adeyemi, she said, with a hint of amusement in her tone. Kunle hesitated, just a split second. Her name tugged at his memory. He frowned faintly. Have we met before? Adaobi's smile didn't flinch. Not properly. The band resumed playing. Cameras started flashing again. The hall tried to return to normal, but the air had changed. Whispers followed their every step as they moved through the hall. Sei pulled Kunle aside, her voice low and sharp. You didn't say Tunde would be here. I didn't think he'd come, Kunle hissed. And who is she? Kunle glanced over at Adaobi again. His chest tightened. Something about her unsettled him, like he was staring at a face from a dream turned nightmare. I don't know, he said, lying to himself. They returned to their seats. Tunde and Adaobi took theirs at a table reserved for honored guests. From across the hall, Adaobi watched Sei and Kunle with a calm, unshakable stare. She didn't blink. She didn't smile. Tunde leaned toward her. You ready? He whispered. Adaobi touched the slit of her dress gently and replied, I was born ready. The tension in the room was as thick as Lagos humidity. The laughter from the MC's last joke had barely faded when he stepped forward again, wiping his glistening forehead with a white handkerchief. Ah, ladies and gentlemen, he said with a wide grin, we have royalty in the building tonight. A man of tech, a man of vision, a man who needs no introduction, our very own brother from Baltimore, Mr. Tunde Alabi. Applause followed, hesitant at first, then building. A few guests stood. Some clapped with confusion, others with forced politeness. Everyone watched. All eyes turned to him. Tunde rose from his chair like he had been waiting for this moment his whole life. His black agbada whispered luxury, simple yet refined. His presence, quiet, sharp, like a knife gliding through silk. He didn't smile. He didn't nod. He just walked toward the stage with the elegance of someone who already knew he was about to change the temperature in the room. Adaobi's gaze followed him, her expression unreadable. She had seen this version of Tunde only once before, in Baltimore, when he made the decision to destroy an empire using nothing but the truth. He climbed the steps and took the mic. No clearing of the throat, no jokes, just silence. He let it sit, let it spread. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft, but it cut deeper than a shout ever could. Weddings are a celebration of love, a union of two people, a promise made in front of witnesses, to be loyal, to be honest, to be whole. He paused. His eyes scanned the room. But not all promises are sacred, not all smiles are sincere, and not every toast comes from joy. A nervous laugh from the back, then stillness again. When I received this wedding invitation, I laughed, not out of bitterness, but because I didn't think I'd ever be in the same room as the two people who left the deepest scar in my life and invited me to raise a glass about it. The crowd froze. Gasps swept through like cold air. Some of you know me as a tech entrepreneur. Some of you know me from university. But very few of you know this. The man sitting beside this bride today was once my brother. Not by blood, but by vision. We built a company together, from scratch, from sweat, from shared hunger. And the woman sitting beside him, she was once the person I thought I'd spend my life with. Kunli's face dropped. His fingers tightened around his champagne glass. Sei reached for a napkin and dabbed her cheek, not from tears but from sweat. Tunde continued, voice even softer now, almost sorrowful. You see, betrayal doesn't always announce itself with slaps or curses. Sometimes it shows up in silence, in late-night calls you weren't supposed to hear, in fake companies that route money from deals you signed, in lips that kiss you in public but curse you in private. Gasps turned to murmurs. A woman covered her mouth. A man whispered to his wife, "Wait, what's he talking about?" Tunde turned slightly toward the couple. "To Kunle, you taught me what it feels like to have your dreams stolen by someone you'd have died for. You taught me that success can have a snake's face and still wear your old wristwatch." A small ripple of stunned laughter echoed. Not joy, but discomfort. And to Sayedi, he paused now. The room leaned in. You taught me the kind of silence that breaks bones. You didn't just leave me. You watched me fall. You handed the knife to the one person I would have protected you from. Say looked away. A camera caught her blinking fast, as if holding back tears or fury. But this isn't about sadness. I've healed. I've rebuilt. And now I thank you both. He raised his glass, calmly. Because without you, I would never have learned that loyalty is not friendship, that love is not always pure, and that starting over can be the greatest blessing. He smiled now, the first time all evening, a slow, disarming, terrifying smile. So here's my toast to Kunle and Sei. May your union be as honest as your intentions. May your wealth grow faster than your secrets. And may karma never forget your address. He sipped, then handed the mic back to the stunned MC. No applause followed, no music played, only silence. Dense, tangible. The kind of silence that comes after lightning strikes and before the building realizes it's been split in two. Tunde descended from the stage and returned to his table. He sat beside Adaobi, who didn't speak. She reached for her wine glass and clinked it gently against his. Now, she whispered, they know what it feels like to bleed without a wound. Adaobi stood slowly, Her emerald dress shimmered like a blade unsheathed as she stepped forward, heels clicking softly against the marble floor. The weight of the hall shifted. Every head turned, every whisper died, every eye fixed on the woman who now held the mic with calm, queenly control. Tunde leaned back in his chair, arms folded, face unreadable. Kunli's smile vanished. Sei's brows knit together, lips parting slightly. "Who is she?" she whispered, mostly to herself. Adaobi cleared her throat gently, not out of fear, but to quiet the tremble of emotion that threatened to crack her voice. Her tone when she spoke was steady, low, dangerous, beautiful. "Good evening, everyone. My name is Adaobi Nwachukwu. I was not invited here to speak, but I believe life has finally given me a microphone I've earned." The crowd, confused but intrigued, remained frozen. Even the MC didn't move to stop her. Something about her presence, her poise, her fire, held them hostage. I'm sure some of you are wondering who I am. You look at my dress, my heels, my confidence, and you think, maybe I'm one of them, a Lagos elite, a big girl. She paused. And that's fine. Let them think that, because just 1 year ago, I was sleeping in an alley behind a liquor store in Baltimore. A sharp inhale cut through the silence. Forgotten, dirty, starving. People walked past me like I was trash. And do you know the craziest part? She looked directly at Sei now. I still believed I mattered. Sei sat back, stunned, unsure whether to feel attacked, confused, or embarrassed. Adaobi's eyes swept the hall again. I wasn't always like that. I had dreams. I came to America with the hope of building something, Glow Naija Beauty, a skincare brand. Not because I wanted to be rich, but because I wanted to help girls like me feel beautiful in a world that told them they weren't. She looked at Kunle now. I ended up working for a Nigerian family in Maryland. They promised me school, freedom, a future. Instead, they gave me a basement, a mop, and threats. For 3 years, I scrubbed toilets, washed dishes, raised children that weren't mine, and ate cold leftovers in silence. Her voice rose, not in volume, but in intensity. When I got sick, they threw me out. No passport, no contacts, no money, and I became what society fears the most, a poor black woman without a voice. Gasps, silence. Tunde's eyes never left her. But I survived, Adaobi continued. I curled up in that alley, day after day, and told myself, one day someone will see me again. She turned slowly toward Tunde. And someone did. The crowd shifted. His name is Tunde Alabi, the same man this wedding was built to mock, the same man this couple stabbed in the back while smiling at him like family. Kunle stood. Okay, that's enough. But his voice cracked. Too loud, too defensive. Adaobi didn't flinch. She turned directly toward him. Sit. Down. The firmness in her voice made even the MC flinch. Kunle froze. Adaobi lifted a remote from her pocket and clicked it. The projector screen behind the wedding stage flickered to life. First slide. An email exchange. Kunle forwarding real estate documents to a private shell company registered in Mauritius. Next slide. Photos of 3 properties sold under Tunde's company name, but redirected into Kunle's personal account. Then audio clips. A recording played across the speakers. Tunde's too soft. He won't know what hit him. I'm registering the Lekki deal in a separate holding name. No trace. And Sei, don't worry, she's in. She knows what time it is. Kunle lunged toward the tech booth, shouting, Cut it! Cut the mic! But security had already blocked his path. Sei's wine glass shattered against the floor. People began murmuring. A woman in jail clutched her pearls. Chezu, this is real. Another man pulled out his phone. Is this being recorded? My God. Adaobi turned back to the crowd. You want to know what betrayal looks like? It's not just a stolen business. It's watching the people you trusted step over your body to build their palace. Her voice lowered again. But I am not a victim. I am a mirror. And today I reflect back everything you tried to bury. She stepped away from the mic. No mic drop. No drama. Just quiet power. She returned to her seat next to Tunde, back straight, eyes forward, as if she hadn't just burned an empire down with elegance. For a moment after Tunde's toast and Adaobi's devastating speech, the hall stood still, silent, like time had stopped. Even the chandeliers seemed dimmer, the air itself heavier. No one moved. No one even breathed.